Today we're going to be doing an oil change on this 2018 BMW 540i xDrive. It's actually the first oil change I do on it. I bought it back in December. We're now in October. I bought it with 13,000 miles, 13.5, and it's coming up to 20,000. I like to do a 6,500 mile oil change interval. So here we are. It's time for an oil change. This engine, the B58, has a slightly different layout from the previous BMW 6-cylinder engines. The oil filter is in the back towards the firewall, so getting to it is going to be a little more difficult than it used to be in the past with the 6-cylinder BMWs. Even the 4-cylinder like the N20s and N26, like in this sucker, it's very prominent right up front, whereas this car we're going to learn as we go. So let's get going. I'm going to flip it around, put it on the ramps, and gather my stuff. So here we go. I turn it around, it's up on the ramps, and by the way, I had to put a couple of pieces of wood to avoid the scraping of the bumper on the ramps. I've never had to do this before. And anyway, the car's up, and I'll show you what I was talking about in regards to the oil filter. So normally on a 6-cylinder, you'd expect it to be up here on the old style BMWs, but what's happened is they kind of flipped the engine around. I think that all the timing stuff's in the back, and the oil filter, so let's go back. This is the engine. I'm on the driver's side here in the US. It's way the hell down there. You can probably not even see it on the camera, but I'll get some of the plastic out and point it out a little better in a minute once I get everything ready. Okay, so let's go over what we think we'll need, then we'll edit at the end for what we actually need. So obviously you need something to catch your oil. I have this oil catcher here that's I've had for 25 years or so. I keep it in this body-sized plastic bag because the damn things always end up leaking one way or another. But anyway, that's what I do. And then I have my tools, and this is a complete guess as to what I will actually need, because again, this is the first time I do this oil change. So I have a couple of sockets. I have some various size, big size sockets here. So I have a 32 mil, which I think is what I'll need. I also have a 27 and a 36. This is what's been needed on previous cars, and I have my 17 millimeter oil plug already attached to the wrench. That's what I've needed in the past. It could be that BMW's changed things, so we'll see. Then obviously I have my oil and my filter. Don't really want to get into a discussion about the type of oil, but you know, I keep all that stuff stashed in my oil change and detailing product cabinet here. Today I'm going to use the Castrol Edge. I think it's the titanium. The LL-01 version is a 540 these days. It used to be a 530, and they've changed it to the 0W40 recently in the past year as the version that is LL-01. I know that the car is supposed to get, according to BMW, the LL-14E, I think it is. That oil, I'm a little uncomfortable with using it. From what I've read, it's an oil that was really meant to reduce friction, which is in order to optimize fuel consumption or reduce fuel consumption. And FCP Euro has a little write-up that says it's too thin, and they recommend the LL-01, which is not admonished based on the service manual, so I'm going with that. And by the way, it's dusty under there, under the hood. It used to be kind of squeaky clean, but I was in Sonoma earlier this week and we've had a ton of fires. So this is ash. So I'm going to apologize in advance. This is not the most comfortable spot. I went under the car and there are 2 holes in the engine cradle kind of thing. One round on the passenger side, more rounded, and one with 3 notches towards the driver's side. The one for this car where the old plug is the one on the driver's side. I don't know why they have the other one there, the round one. It may be that on other models is how you access the either the filter or the plug itself, and it's one size fits all. But in my case, it's over here. I can't film from under there. It does look like a 17. I'll confirm that a little later. Okay, so we have the oil draining now. It was a 17 mil, and no surprises there. Got the oil filter kit out, so it does come with the filter cartridge, as well as a O-ring for the oil filter cap, and a new washer to go on our plug. So now let's get that sucker out. That's the part about this oil change on this car that I'm not looking forward to. Let's take a couple of covers off for access. So let's just take this. I already kind of popped it out. So there's a couple of grommets that the cover snaps into. And then for better access, this cover also comes off, so you lift it from the front and then it slides out from the back. This is a little notch that goes in the back, or it goes in the front. And let's see if I can actually get to the oil filter on the camera. You can see this white sticker, and there's the cap with the little yellow dot on top. So what I need to do is put a socket on there with an extension, turn it, and I'll probably also put some rags and stuff because of the location it looks like it's gonna make a big mess. There's, I don't know, a way around making a mess that I can see. Alright, so we're ready to get that sucker out. It is a 32 mil socket that I need. I put a rag under the oil filter housing. I have an extra rag right there on top of all this electronic stuff. I probably wouldn't want to get oil on there. And I have a plastic bag, in this case a dog poop bag, ready to catch the oil filter when it does come out, because it's going to drain oil all over the place, so you just need to be ready for that. Here we go. Let's get it out. This is the oil filter. There's actually a top and a bottom to this filter. This with the plastic side that protrudes more is the bottom, and right there this would be the top. I'm dripping oil all over the place, but you could also tell from the new filter in the plastic. This is the bottom side, this is the top side. When I took it out, normally they come out with the oil filter cap. In this case it didn't. It looks like it snaps into the oil filter housing and you put your cap on top. So I have to take the old O-ring off, which I will do with my little pick tool, and then I'm going to oil the new O-ring with some old oil that just dripped all over here, and put it back around the cap, insert the new filter, put the cap back on, and tighten it up. It did make a big mess when I took the oil cap out. The oil was really trapped in the cap, and you need some rags down there, or else you're just going to spill it everywhere. So here we go. The oil filter is back in position. It definitely pops in there when you push it in. There's a definite pop, and I looked at it. There's an O-ring on the bottom that is built into the filter. So now we're going to put our cap on, tighten it up 25 Newton meters with our 32 mil again, and that will be done. We'll be done with that oil filter part, and now we just have to wait for the oil to finish draining. It's probably done, and refill it. Our oil filter cap is back on and tightened per spec. Now, just want to show you the rag that I took out. It's an old t-shirt. I like using old t-shirts for old changes. It's quite a bit of oil that was caught. I managed to not spill anything on top of the components underneath the oil filter housing, but there's no way you would be doing it without a rag. So there's that. And then our oil is done draining. So I'll crawl back under there and put the cap with the new washer and tighten that up. So now that the oil drain plug is back in, time to fill her up with oil. The oil quantity is, it looks like 7 quarts or 6.5 liters. Since I had a partial bottle that was not at an obvious level, I emptied the first 5 quarts and I poured the additional 2 in the now empty 5-quart bottle. Now that the oil change is pretty much complete from the mechanical standpoint, let's review what I actually needed. This was a complete surprise. I just kind of went into it without having done it on this car or looked at any sort of other videos. When I first looked, I couldn't find any. So what I need, of course, is a catch pan for the old oil. I started by warming up the engine, putting the car on ramps. You can see it right here up on the ramps. And then I took my oil plug off using the 17 mil socket. An little extension doesn't hurt. Then I did the oil cap. I took it off using a 32 mil. Also, you do need for sure an extension for that, given where it's located, and it is messy, so rags to catch any oil are highly recommended. Then I needed my oil filter, which I put back in. Installation was the reverse of what I put in after doing the O-ring. And then I put the drain plug back in with the new crush washer, filled up the engine with 7 quarts of oil. So the next step really is going to be to drain this sucker into the now empty oil container, take it back to not to Home Depot, to AutoZone. The reason why I do my own oil changes, by the way, is I like working on the cars. It's kind of my own little time away from everything. It's extremely simple. I get everything delivered to the house. I don't even have to go to a store. You can order kits from FCP Euro or ECS or whoever you like. I actually get the oil from Walmart or Amazon. It's only like 25 bucks for 5 quarts, which is an amazing bargain for that quality of oil. The oil filter, same thing. I get a MAN oil filter or a Mahle oil filter. I'm not sure if it's how you pronounce it, but that should be close enough. They are the ones who make those for BMW, and I can do an oil change in 30 minutes. It's I can do it, during my lunch hour, between meetings. I could do it in the evening, and you can kind of see under your car and take get to know it, so that if something comes up, you at least have knowledge of the car. You could see any leaks that are coming up. And I feel like I do a better job than the dealer. Like this car I just bought, there's supposed to be a cap on the engine pan, and the dealers have done 2 oil changes on this car with the previous owner, one at 9,000 miles, one at 13,500, just before I bought it. And obviously some of those caps have been removed, and it was done by the dealer. There's no question that happened. So I have a mistrust of the dealer service department, and I prefer to do some of this simple stuff on my own. And really, I've done some more complicated jobs as a result. And if you have the time, the will, the knowledge is out there. So my next step here is going to be to reset the oil interval on the dash. So we're going to go in the car and go through that. Push your start stop button 3 times quickly, and the car will go into diagnosis mode. There we go, diagnostic mode. From there you push the button on the left and you hold it. Hope I didn't wait too long. There we go. Brake fluid is due. It's getting done on Monday, but not by me. I take that in. Push it again. Engine oil, it says 4,000 miles. It's reset possible. To reset it, I push and hold. Reset, let it go, push it again, and it says it's in progress. Reset unsuccessful. That is no bueno. Let's try again. Reset, yes. Reset in progress. Reset successful. I pressed and held the button. That was maybe the key to success the second time around. Alright, we'll wrap up with the check of the oil level. So I'm going to go into my vehicle and I want to go into vehicle status. Go to the left. Engine oil level. Measure engine oil level. Start measurement. I drove the car prior to this. I went to run a couple of errands, actually drop off the used oil, filled up the car. Because tomorrow morning I'm leaving for a 215-mile trip back to Sonoma. So now we're just all ready for the trip. Didn't realize this was going to take quite so long, but it's getting through it. I fully expect it to be fine since I put 7 quarts. Looking on the internet, it looks like the capacity is somewhere between 6.5 to 7 quarts, or 6.1 and 6.6 liters, or 6.5 liters, I forget exactly. But if you're in that range, it looks like you're good. Of course, there's no dipstick in this car, which is a whole other debate, but oh well. So here we go. I'm at the max with 7 quarts, exactly what I expected. So it's all good. So with that, thank you very much for watching. I apologize for the quality of the video. I'm new at this stuff, but maybe you picked up a few tips or found the video useful. Cheers.